Boom. What's going on, people? Welcome back to Gooners Therapy, North London Derby weekend. What a weekend we've got going on. Guys, I was having some technical difficulties. I've just had to delete them two streams because there's no point, because on the replays, when we get actually most of our views, and if people see me and I'm not talking or the technical issues, they're not going to want to watch. But here we are, North London Derby. Today's show, what I'm going to run through the North London Derby, of course, but you've probably heard a lot about that. But one thing I wanted to touch on is Declan Rice. Declan Rice's interview, which he has come out and spoke about his love for playing for Aretea, and we're going to touch on it. We're going to come into what Declan Rice and to what a lot of players say about Aretea, because it's crazy that so many fans bash this man. So many fans say he's not good enough. So many fans want him out of the club. Yet the players, whenever you hear players talk about this man, it's nothing but admiration. And the media as well. You know, the media can be two ways. There are some people that criticize him. There's a lot that get behind him, of course, as well. But yeah, let's first focus on, obviously, the starting lineups. What are we going to do? Who should play? Should it be Hincapié or should it be Mosquera? I think it's a really, really tough one, because you look at Hincapié, the guy is a winner. The guy literally went unbeaten, right? He went unbeaten. Big up everyone. Big up Rashid. Big up Tyrell Geller. But Tyrell Gunner, he's the one who let me know I was on mute. So big up for that, man. Thank you. Or else I'd have been talking here like an idiot. But let's think about it, guys, right? Let's think about it, right? One is a winner. He's experienced. We bought him for £45 million, right? The he's been an invincible. He's aggressive. I think that we bought Hincapié to be like someone similar to Gabriel. And obviously we've bought Mosquera to be the similar one to Saliba. So it makes sense, right? So I think if Hincapié had more game time, he could be starting this game. But thinking about it, he's traveled a lot. He's just captained his country. He was overseas and he's done a lot of traveling. I'm not sure if he throws him straight into the North London Derby. It wouldn't totally surprise me. I think he goes with Mosquera. However, as good as Mosquera has been, I am itching to see Hincapié. But look, is it too much? Let me know in the comments. Who would you start? I'm going to read some of these comments out here. Big up Rashid, man. We don't see eye to eye, but he's a good guy, and we have good back and forth. So I actually want Rashid. If this is Rashid, who I think it is, I'm not sure. This could be a different Rashid. But if it's Rashid Revolution, I want you to come on Monday. I've asked Dan to ask you, because I've got a few positive guys and Dan's going to be on his own. But yeah, he said, I think you're kicking ball that day. But okay, because these players can't play the big teams if it wasn't for Aretea. Okay, now this must be a different Rashid. Big yourself up, this Rashid 1986. And yeah, look, listen, they could play big. They could play big games with or without Aretea, right? Of course they could, but Aretea, you have to say, in the big games, his record is phenomenal with Arsenal, and Aretea has changed that. So towards the end, they couldn't really play in these big games under Arsene Wenger, especially the away games. So I'm not sure if there's sarcasm there or not, right? I don't know what Rashid this is. It is Revolution. So now I know he's being sarcastic. Sorry, bro. I've just looked at the badge, right? Listen, the manager, obviously, you know, he's built this team in his image. He's built a strong team. Look what Declan Rice has just said about him, man. Big up Tyrell Gunner. So I'll just go with my lineup first, right? Obviously, David Raya picks himself. Usually I've been saying every pre-match, I've been saying that the defense picks itself. But today it's a little bit different. This Sunday is going to be different because who do we play? Let's just say Calafiori has got a knock and he's not going to start. I mean, is it going to be Skelly at left back or Hincapié at left back? And who's going to go at centre back? Is it Mosquera or is it Hincapié? I think Arteta goes with Skelly at left back, Mosquera, Saliba, and Timber. Me personally, I would go with I don't know. I don't know. It's really real hard decision, man. It is a really tough decision. Because Mosquera, we know what we're going to get. We know he's been good. He was good at Anfield. And Hincapié, as good as he is and aggressive, in that sort of game, you want that, but at the same time, you don't want to get a player like sent off if he gets a yellow early. Could be a long game. But I'm going to put my neck on the line and say Hincapié. But if Mosquera starts, I'll be more than happy. Let me know in the comments who you guys would start. Now, in the midfield, there's rumours that Odegaard could be back. I've just watched the great man Mikel Arteta's interview, and he doesn't give much away. And I was watching Curtis Shaw's stream earlier. Big up Curtis Shaw. We disagree on loads of things, but he's a great streamer. Over the years, watching his stuff, I've watched it and thought, yeah, man, like I could do this sort of thing, and I big him up, man. But I was watching his stream, and he was like, he's not giving nothing to anyone, to us fans. But why would he? Why would he give Spurs that little advantage by letting them know who's going to be fit and who's not? All the managers do it. They're not going to come out and tell you exactly what lineup they're going to play 2 days before one of the biggest games of the season. Let Thomas Frank not know if it's going to be Gyökeres or Marino, because when they're having their training sessions, they're either training, Gyökeres is definitely playing. Now they don't know. It could be Gyökeres, it could be Marino, could be Trossard up top. So they can't just specifically train for Marino because there's a chance Gyökeres could play. And I think Gyökeres could start this game. I really do think Gyökeres could start this game. And I think it would be a perfect game for Gyökeres to get a goal. Odegaard could be back. That's for sure. Listen, Odegaard, any of these players, if they are back, they'll be on the bench. I'm sure of that. They're not going to be thrown straight into the North London derby, although you do never know, of course. Big up Walker. Hello, man, my guy. And so look, in the midfield, obviously, I think it kind of picks itself. Obviously, Eze, Zubamende, Rice. Then up front, listen, if Gyökeres is fit, it has to be Gyökeres. Even if he's just come back, I'm still throwing him in. If he's not, then look, Trossard could play through the middle. When I see Marino, I don't feel filled up with confidence. But against Spurs, listen, I think if things are going well and we're 2-0 up and the crowd's behind us, he'll be fine. So, because I'm going for a 3-0 win. As much as Arsenal got injuries, Spurs have injuries. So I go Sacco, Trossard, and Mikel Marino. But going long, if we had to play like 5 or 6 games with that, I would not be confident of winning those games because that front three is not got enough firepower to win you games. Who do I think is going to turn up? I think Bukayo Saka is going to turn up. I think this is going to be the game where Saka really gets back to the Saka of old because we need Saka. Saka needs to be the man. He is the poster boy of Arsenal Football Club. He's been our best player consistently for years, but this season he's not got up to that level that we know he can play to. So for me, Bukayo Saka must step up tomorrow, and I'm back, not tomorrow, excuse me, Sunday, and I'm backing him to do it. I really am backing Bukayo Saka to do the business on Sunday. I'm going for a 3-0 Arsenal win. I've just seen that Kudos is back in training, Sar's back in training. Whether they're 100% fit or not, or if they're going to start, I'm not too sure. But Spurs are missing a lot of players. Kulusevski is one of their best players. Solanke's the best striker. Richarlison, come on, I'm not bothered about him one bit. So, yeah, I think we should beat them. I really do think we should beat Spurs. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And, let's move on to what Declan Rice has said now. Because Declan Rice, when asked about Mikel Arteta, this is Declan Rice's words, word for word, in his interview. Don't judge him now. Judge him at the end of his career when he's won it all. Because he will win everything. That is coming from Declan Rice. Now, some people say he's glazing, he's looking for a new contract. How about he just believes in his manager? He said he just goes out and gets to enjoy playing football because Mikel Arteta is like a remote in his head. That's what he said. Now, maybe he's saying that because he believes in Mikel Arteta. Because Granit Xhaka done an interview recently And it was nothing but good things to say about Arteta. They all say that the attention to detail that the man goes into. And what people need to remember, I know he's been at Arsenal for 6 years now. This is his first job. He could be a manager for 20 years. So how many top managers had loads of trophies in their first 6 years? Because Alex Ferguson, I know he won trophies in Scotland, but when he went to Man United, it was 6 years before he won, I think, the FA Cup. Saved him from getting sacked. So Arteta, I have no doubt, hopefully it's with Arsenal, but he's going to be a top manager for years to come. And Declan Rice said it himself, another quote from Declan Rice was that Mikel Arteta will go on to be one of the greatest managers. And look, he's only got Community Shield and an FA Cup to show for it so far, but give the man a bit of time. He's just started managing and he's got Arsenal back to competing. And this is the year we have to win. Simple as that. Now, what about Manchester City? Because Manchester City are right behind us, guys. What do we think? Do Manchester City are they the team? Are they the only team that can challenge us in this title race? What do we think, guys? Are they the only side? Because I think that Liverpool, when I'm just looking at Liverpool's fixtures, Liverpool have got a nice little run coming. They've got Forest at home. They've got West Ham at home. They play Leeds twice in the same month of January. So I feel like they've actually got a chance of getting back into this title race when you look at the fixtures. But what about Man City this Saturday? Manchester City up against Newcastle. All of those Newcastle fans, it's 5:30. I've gone to Arsenal to play Newcastle under the lights at 5:30 in the winter, and we lost 1-0. It was that game when the Havertz goal and the offside and all of that business. What an awful memory. But look, it's a tough place to go. Now, Newcastle, they're not playing nowhere near to the level that they can play at all. But Newcastle still on their day at home under the lights, 40,000 Geordies all out on the piss beforehand Saturday night. Listen, if they score first, it could be a long game for City because Newcastle, they don't score many goals, but they've got a good defense. And with Walter Morday, that physical sort of side, look, I don't see anyone stopping Haaland right now. That's the truth. The guy is an absolute machine and he's very scary. But there's a chance, there is a chance that Newcastle could get something. And if they did, going into that North London, we would be even more excited and the fans would just be extra buzzing. There's nothing quite like it. If you've been to a North London derby, I should say, if you have been, you'll know what I'm talking about. The Emirates is not known for being the most noisiest of stadiums, but on that day, let me tell you, the North London derby, even guys who just go there and want to chill, something comes out in them and everyone just raises their standards, raises their games, and the hairs of your neck go up. And it's Arsenal, Tottenham. It's something special. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm very confident that we're going to get the win that we need to carry on with this great form that we've been in. Because it's funny, isn't it, guys? One draw and everyone suddenly is panicking. Other fans are getting excited that Arsenal not lost, by the way. We've dropped points. Suddenly it's all over. Oh, this is where it's all going to go wrong. Just calm. Nothing's going wrong. We're going to beat. Listen, I care about these Chelsea and Spurs games. If we can win those two games in adversity with injuries, that will be a big statement. Now, the Bayern Munich game, listen, I want to send a statement to Europe, but if we lost it, it wouldn't be the end of the world because we're going through. We only have to finish in the top 8. That's a guaranteed. We're basically already guaranteed in the top 8. So as much as I'm going to be there at the Emirates and I'm going to be buzzing for that game, look, Mourinho up top against Bayern Munich, he done it against Real Madrid. We beat Real Madrid 3-0. We wasn't expecting that. So look, it could happen. But I would probably take a draw in that game now, if I'm being truthful. I probably would take a draw in that game now. And the main games I want to win is Tottenham, of course, are two London rivals, man. We got them back to back week after week with Bayern Munich in the middle. The thing is, the players, when you play big games, I'm glad that Chelsea are playing against Barcelona because when you play big, massive games, the energy gets zapped out of you. Arsenal will do a lot more running in the North London derby as they would to say Forest at home. And then Arsenal will certainly run more than they've ever run when they play against a Bayern Munich team. But the same goes for Chelsea. They're away at Burnley. But after that, they play against Barcelona. So playing against Barcelona is going to be a tricky, tough game for them. And then, of course, they play us. So I'm glad that, we've got Bayern Munich. They haven't got like, I don't know, a Shakhtar at home or someone. I know they don't even play in the Champions League. That's a bad example. But a Kragbag, they played Kragbag away. I know they drew, I think, 2-2. But I'm glad they don't have a team of that quality. I'm glad they're playing a top team like Barcelona. We're both playing top teams. They are at home, but listen, it's not long to travel. So yeah, Arsenal, Chelsea again. I think just there's little. I've heard people. Well, I've heard a lot of noise now. Chelsea fans, we are in the title race. Then we're not. Then we are. They lose a game, they're not in it. They win a game, and we drop points. Now they're back in it. So look, obviously, Chelsea fans would be thinking if they could beat Burnley, if Arsenal drop points against Spurs, and then they beat us, then they are definitely in it. But I don't see it happening like that. I could even see. No, I fancy them to beat Burnley. To be fair, I think we beat Spurs, but then I think we beat Chelsea. And if we go 9 points ahead of them in November, that's bye bye to Chelsea. Liverpool, I'm not counting them fully out of it yet, to be honest. I have bantered them, their fans and that, have a bit of fun with them, but really and truly, you can't count them fully out of it. I mean, look, it's going to be a massive uphill battle for them because they don't just have to chase Arsenal. They've got to chase Arsenal, Chelsea, and City. They need 3 teams to drop points. Not like, do you know what I mean? So it's not like they just got to catch the 7 points on Arsenal because City are going to keep winning. Chelsea will win. So if we do drop points, it's unlikely all 3 of us are going to drop that many points. But look, there's still a chance because we are only in November. People, if you're watching, please smash those likes for me. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're watching it on the replay, please drop a comment and help us get to the 1K. I think we're on 978. I think on the first stream that I did when I had to cancel it and go back, there was one person who subscribed. So whoever you are, big yourself up, man. Thank you very much. We're nearly there, guys. We're 22 subscribers away from 1K. Me and Dan, my boy Dan, really schooner, we've been putting in a lot of work, a lot of hours. So we'd appreciate it, man, if you could help us out and subscribe and share the content. Now, moving on to Declan Rice. What do we think about Declan Rice? Because for me, he is the best midfielder in the world. And I'm just trying to think, would I be more pissed off if Declan Rice was injured for 2 months? Because Gabriel, they're saying it could be a month to 2 months. Let's go with the worst, 2 months. Would I be more pissed off if Declan Rice was injured for 8 months? And looking at it now, I'm just thinking at the defense, as good as Gabriel is, and like he's my favorite Arsenal player, by the way. So, I'm gutted. There's no one more gutted than me that Gabriel was out. He's the guy I'd be expecting to do the business tomorrow. I keep saying tomorrow, man. Look, I'm buzzing for it, but on Sunday, but he's not going to be there. But now I think about it, you've got Hincapié, you've got Mosquera, you've got Calafiori that can go in there. Who can really cover Declan Rice? I don't think anyone. So really, I probably would be more pissed off if it was Declan Rice. And listen, I think we're going to see. Yeah, look, Walker, big up Walker, man. Always coming and showing love, man. I really appreciate it. The delivery is more important from the corners. Yeah, it's, obviously Gabriel, even when he doesn't score the corner, he does drag other defenders away. But listen, Marino is good from corners. Saliba doesn't score enough for me from corners, but he's still a threat. Calafiori's a threat. So there are still threats from corners, and Declan Rice, if he puts it on your head, he makes it easy. The delivery is that good. So, yeah, I mean, just for Declan Rice's all-round game, who's going to cover as much grass? I mean, look, come on, Norgard and Declan Rice, the difference is just as silly, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we'd probably go over midfield 3 of now Odegaard's nearly back. It'd be Odegaard, Eze, and Zubimendi. But Declan Rice is probably our most important player. Yeah, Declan Rice. And of course, Declan Rice was speaking about Arteta, and he said, judge Arteta at the end of his career when he's won it all. That is coming out of Declan Rice's mouth. So big up Declan Rice, believing in his manager. He could have just come. He doesn't have to say any of that. He can come out and say, I believe he's going to win something, or we're going to win something, but he's going to win it all. He's like a remote in my head. These players, they love Arteta. They've created a real family, a real unity, and they will win trophies this year. And there's a lot of people that are going to have to eat their words. A lot of people, a lot of big content creators that come out and just slag the manager off 24/7. And look, I half get it, when we're like last season, I get it. even though we had injuries, it doesn't matter. We we didn't achieve anything really, apart from, we got to our first semi-final since 2009 in the Champions League. So we progressed in Europe, but in the league we stagnated, and it was a backward season. So I kind of half understood the noise. But now when I'm going on streams and I'm arguing with people like Lee Gunner and whoever else I may be arguing with, Northside, it was the other day, they just sound like they want to cry all the time. And it's like, we're top of the league, guys. We're 4 points clear, but I suppose in their head, they're just thinking we're definitely not going to win it. But for me, man, we've got a massive chance. And I personally do think we will win the Premier League. And I think we'll win another trophy of the Premier League. I'm backing us to win 2 trophies this season. But yeah, Manchester City, I just wanted to touch on what Pep Guardiola's come out and said, because Pep Guardiola, and I feel like the mind games have started now, because Pep Guardiola has come out and said, this is where the real season starts. He's come out and said that after we've dropped points, they've gained points, both got big games this weekend. He's laying down the marker. This is where the season starts. Now, Pep Guardiola and Haaland is massive. They're a massive threat to us, and I think they are the main threat to us not winning the league. And look, the games have started. It has started. Then I feel like it's going to be Arsenal and City going for it this season. But look, anything can happen. Football changes quickly. If they were to lose to Newcastle, which is not out of the question, they only drew there last season, and we beat Spurs like we always do, then suddenly we're now 7 points ahead of them. And it's more than it was a few weeks ago when it was 6. But of course, it could go the other way. Well, I don't think we'd lose the game, but we could draw with Spurs. They could win. It could be down to 2 points. So things change very quickly in football, but I'm backing Arsenal to do the business. Big up AFC Always First for always coming in this chat and always showing love. Big respect to you, man. We don't agree on Arteta, on football, but listen, it's always love and respect, man. What happens if Arteta doesn't win the league? If Arteta doesn't win the league and there is a top manager, I'm talking elite, like Luis Enrique, he's had enough at PSG and he's ready to come in, then I'm not going to say no. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't. As much as I feel like this team's built in Arteta's image and he deserves the right. 7 seasons, not the league. So it depends. If he won the Champions League, then the guy's getting a statue and he's getting another 3-year deal, of course. But if he doesn't win the league and he doesn't win any other trophies, I don't know if I could maybe he's just not the man then, if that's what you want me to say. But look, I don't think it's going to happen to that. What I'll say back to that is, what if he does win the league? What if he does win the Premier League, AFC Always? What if he wins the Premier League? Then what are we saying? Because 99% of fans will then turn around and say, hey, listen, he's won us the Premier League. I've been waiting 21 years for this. Big him up, give him a new contract, and let's go again and try and win some more trophies. But I'm not sure you would be like that, AFC Always, would you? Let me know in the comments, guys. If Arteta wins the Premier League, what are we saying? And if he doesn't win the Premier League, what are we saying? Let me know in the comments. And if you're watching it on the replay, please let me know in the comments. This is the little cheeky Friday Night Live I thought I would do, because I was sitting here and I just watched Arteta's press conference and I thought, you know what? Why not? Let's do a little live and chat to the people then. What do we think tomorrow, though, guys? There's some big games on. Chelsea, Burnley. What do we think about that, guys? Let's see what AFC Always. To be honest, I just want a trophy. It's been half a decade without a trophy. Look, I agree with you, man. The other day, I got kind of suckered into saying that I'd rather finish second than finish 8th and win a cup double. But now looking back on it, I'm not sure I would. My reasons being is that I feel like this team has got 4 years, 4 peak years probably, right? The next 4 years to win the Premier League or the Champions League, especially the Champions League, because we've never seen it, right? And if we were to finish 8th but win a cup double, next year we wouldn't be in the Champions League. That would be one year less to win a Champions League. The great Invincible team didn't even win a Champions League. I want that Champions League so bad. So as much as I'd love a cup double, I'd hate not to be in the Champions League next year with this team that I believe every year we've got a chance of winning it now. When was the last time you could really say we got a chance of winning the Champions League? Because even the Arteta out fans, one thing that we can all agree on, we have a big chance of winning the Champions League or the Premier League this year for sure. And look, it's not just about us being a great team. Look around you. Liverpool, Manchester City, both of them are not the teams that they were in the Premier League. And look around Europe. Real Madrid don't have the Ronaldos, the Benzemas. All right, they've got Vinny, Bellingham, and Mbappe. They've got top players, but they've not got what they had before. Liverpool have already beat them. We're not scared of them. We beat them twice last year, 5-1. Bayern Munich looked very good, but it's in the Bundesliga. We don't know how well it is. We'll see Wednesday night when we play them at the Emirates. But there's no standout team. Barcelona have not got Messi. They're not, obviously PSG look good, very good last season. They've been inconsistent this year. Do they have the squad depth? The Champions League is there for the taking, man. I'm telling you now, it's there, man. And the way we play, it's very possible. If Arteta doesn't win the league, I trust Berta to choose the next manager. I'm not sure it'd be down to Berta. I'm not sure. Is that how it works? I think he's more with transfers, but maybe a transfer of a manager, possibly it could be. And look, would he choose? I don't like talking about this because we're top of the league. I don't think it's a topic we should talk about. But let's go with it because you've mentioned it. His guy is obviously athletic as Simeone, but Arteta's just scored him 4-0. But he is a very experienced manager, and he's won leagues when he's been up against Barcelona and Real Madrid. So what are you saying in the chat? Let me know. If Arteta wasn't to win the league and didn't win anything, and look, as Walker says, it could be down to Berta. Would you take Simeone? Let's go through some of these games tomorrow. Burnley, Chelsea. I think Chelsea should roll them over, to be honest. I know Burnley. You never know though. Burnley are very good at home, man. They are very good at home. So yeah, but I feel like Chelsea will win that one. Lunchtime kickoff, early kickoff. Yeah, if it was Burnley, I don't know. If it was Burnley like a bit of a later time, maybe I'd go Burnley, but I think Chelsea will go there and win the game. Bournemouth, West Ham. I don't know why I've got a feeling West Ham could win this one. Brighton, Brentford. I'm going to go draw. AFC always gone 2-1. Chelsea. Yeah, I'm going for something like that. 2-1 or 3-1. What do we think about Rob Edwards, guys? Can he save Wolverhampton Wanderers? I'm going for Wolves to win, I'm going to Liverpool to beat Forest 3-0. Fulham to beat Sunderland for me, burst their bubble. Newcastle to get a draw against City for me. I'm going Newcastle to get a draw at City, and Arsenal to beat Spurs 2 or 3-0. Now, guys, hey, bald Clipper Danny, big up. Big up, my bro, Guna Essie. Not sure if I know you from somewhere, but even if not, man, big up. Thanks for coming in the chat. Like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Guys, I just want to touch on the media thing with Bellingham and everything like that. And I saw Ian Wright in the overlap. And, it was Ian Wright. That was Ian Wright. That was the real Ian Wright. That wasn't Ian Wright like Sky on Sky Ian Wright or the media Ian Wright. That was a real Ian Wright. And, I don't watch or read a lot of media stuff, to be honest, So I used to get the papers so much. There used to be a thing about 10 years ago. That's what I'd go and do. I'd go to the wake up, go to the shop, pint of milk and the paper. Do you know what I mean? But it's just not something I do anymore. And I don't follow England like that. So, I've not seen loads of criticism, but from what I hear, it sounds like he's getting overly criticized. And look, there's been a lot of players that has happened to. Like, I remember Rooney getting it, but Rooney got sent off. I remember David Beckham he got sent off. Bellingham's done nothing wrong. For me, he's been top quality for England. So it does seem that there seems to be a race thing. And look, the whole Eze thing, Eze and Foden, that was just ridiculous. It's a 2-yard pass. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. For me, it could be a race thing, but it could also be an Arsenal thing, because they never want to give Arsenal players credit. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on that, guys. Anthony Clark says, big up Positive Dan. Come on, you Gooners. I've been Arteta out since 2019. Wow. Would you play Trossard up front with Saka on the left and Ethan on the right? Do you know what, bro? Listen, That sounds good to me. I'm not going to lie. I remember one of the best North London derbies I went to, under Arteta, by the way, was when Mikel Arteta, no, excuse me, Mikel Arteta. It was Smith Rowe, Saka, and Aubameyang. And Aubameyang scored that goal, and he done the Thierry Henry celebration. Smith Rowe scored, Saka scored. They were both about 19 or 20 years old. We were 3-0 up after half an hour. The game ended 3-1, but it was like pure delirium. It was unbelievable. It was literally unbelievable. What a day it was. And that team you just said there, right? Where is it? Who you just said? Where is it? Let's get it up. Yeah, I mean, Saka on the left, Ethan on the right, Trossard. It does kind of excite you more. I'm not gonna lie, but for me, I would still probably go with Saka, Trossard, who I think's been our best forward this year, and I'm gonna have to say probably Marino up top. Guys, he doesn't fill me with confidence. Do not get me wrong. I would have to see that team, that front three you've put out. I like it though. I'm not gonna lie, but I'd have to see it in a game before. I don't think we'd ever played them three together. So to just throw them into a North London derby together like that, I'm not so sure. But hey, I mean, I wouldn't be pissed off if I saw it in the lineup. Thanks for the comment, Anthony Clark, and please like and subscribe. Like if you haven't, guys, please get me with the likes. If you haven't subscribed, we're on the road to 1K, so please show us some love. They don't call you Positive Dan for nothing. That's true. They don't call me Positive Dan for nothing. But trust me, my bro, I would not be being positive if we were fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. It's only because I can see the future, guys. I can see that there's something special is going to happen with this club. Do you know 12th man too? Yeah, I go on the 12th man. Dan Potts is 12th man. Big up Dan Potts. He gave us a raid the other day. That was brilliant. All right, lad. I'm scarcer, lad. Big up Malcolm. Everton, you lot got Manchester United. You always come and show love, so I appreciate that. Even though you're not an Arsenal fan, that's very kind of you, man. Yeah, Everton have got Manchester United. Listen, I hate watch Man United all the time. I'm hoping you guys can win, and I'm hoping to get tickets to go see Arsenal vs Everton. It was on the Sunday, but it was the Sunday before Christmas, and I thought, nah. And then they changed it to the Saturday. So now it's on the Saturday, 8 o'clock in Goodison Park, the new ground. I'm hoping to be there, Malcolm, man. So yeah, looking forward to that one, man. Really funny how Foden is playing deeper and doing what Odegaard does, but apparently he is back. Great comment, Walker. Walker comes out with a good comment because it is true. Odegaard has never been an out and out number 10. He's one that links the play, knits things together. It's because he had that outstanding season where he got 15 goals and 10 assists, whatever it was in the 22-23 season. When he done that, we kind of thought we was going to get that every season. But I think he's got it in him. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that is all. And look, I think where Odegaard's been out, now we're realizing just how much we do miss Odegaard going forward. But look, you got to think our attack hasn't even clicked yet. Gyökeres had his best game against Burnley, best first half. He only played a half. So Gyökeres hasn't even got to his best yet. Victor Gyökeres is nowhere near to his best yet. Saka hasn't reached his best yet. For me, Trossard is playing at his best right now. Big up Leonardo Trossard. And you know what? He scored last year in the North London derby. And I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trossard gets a goal tomorrow. Guys, let me know your predictions. Predictions in the chat, please, for the scoreline tomorrow. Let me know, guys. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I wanted to read something else out here because what was it? There was something that was quite interesting. Where is it? There was one from somewhere. Where is it gone? Oh, I can't find it now. But there was a comment here that I wanted to go back to. Let me just see if I can find it, guys. It was a guy someone that said he's been Arteta out since 2019. Can't find it, but anyway, someone said they were Arteta out since 2019. That is when we got Arteta. So since that day, you've just been Arteta out. I mean, what about when out of nowhere he got us into a title race and we were top for like 97% of that season and we were playing the most unbelievable football? What about the season after when we went on that we won 17 out of 19 games and we were beating teams 6-0, 5-0, 4-0, going up to West Ham, beating them 6-0, beat Chelsea 5-0 at the Emirates. After we beat Real Madrid 3-0, you're telling me after all these games, you was Arteta out. That is what I don't understand. Now, listen, let me just say, I'm positive, Dan, because we're in a positive situation. I know we've not won trophies recently, but I sense something special happening. Now, listen, I've got no problem at all with any fan. We all allowed our own opinions. I've got no problem with any fan in the world saying, look, you know what? I want Arteta out. I want a different manager. I think you should support the manager because you support your club and like you support the players. You might not like a player, but when he crosses that line, you support him. And I think the same should be done with a manager. What I can't understand is even if I was Arteta out, say at the end of the season, right? And I easily could have been, right? So let's say this season he doesn't win, and I say, you know what, I want a new manager, and we don't get one. If then the next season, after 10 games, we're top, I'm gonna go, you know what, I'm getting behind this guy. Because aren't we a stronger fan base, a stronger unit if we're all together? Do not think that players don't watch social media. Do not think that Arteta doesn't hear this stuff. It's impossible to get away from it, you know? So for me, as a person, I think it's better if we're all united together, supporting our club in the right way. That's just how I think. Now, look, we're all different and we can all support teams however we want. That's of course. That's life. We can. But for me, we should all be together behind Mikel Arteta, behind all the players, especially this is such a big week for Arsenal Football Club. It's a massive week. Arsenal Football Club, it's going to be a huge week. Of course, we've got Tottenham, Chelsea, and then Bayern Munich, and then Chelsea. Imagine if we get the 3 wins, it would be absolutely special. It'd be a special week, and it would definitely shut a lot of people up. Now, I want to talk about Bukayo Saka because, for me, Bukayo Saka really does need to step up his game. If Arsenal are to win the Premier League, we need to have that one star player. And Saka is meant to be the star man. He's meant to be the star player, right? So for me, Saka has that next level to get to. And I thought this would be the season where we might see Saka score, I don't know, 20 goals in the league. Last season he was very close to breaking the assist record until he got injured. But I was starting to think maybe we could see Bukayo Saka get to that level. And I think this is the season that if we're going to win the league, we're going to need our best player playing at his best. And look, he's scored some goals. He scored penalties. He scored, obviously, last week against Sunderland. He's been okay, but I need to see Saka performing like he did, not last season, but the season before and the season before that and the season before that. He's been excellent. Last year, obviously, he had injuries as well. But for me, I think Bukayo Saka is the key going forward. Because if we don't win this league title, it won't be anything to do with our defense. It will be nothing to do with our defense whatsoever. It will be down to our attack not producing enough goals. So let's hope that Bukayo Saka can get back to his best. I think it starts tomorrow. I'm backing Saka to get a goal, possibly an assist, but I think Saka is going to be the main man on Sunday at the Emirates. He's scored against Tottenham a few times, and I'm backing Bukayo Saka to score again. What about Eze? What do we think about Aretea Eze? Eze, for me, look, I never expected Eze to come in and be a world beater. When we were linked with him and Rodrigo, I was leaning towards Rodrigo because I think Rodrigo he's got that star about him that he could become a star. With Eze, even at Palace, I always used to look at his stats. And for me, we always tend to look at players when they're at other teams and think they're better than they are, and then we slate our own players. It's like my boy who I do the show with, Realist Guna, you lot will know him. He was telling me that Gordon's better than Martinelli. And I said, you only think that because you see Gordon play on Match of the Day or whatever highlights, and you see him when he scores and thinks, oh, he's good. And then you might not see him score for 3 or 4 weeks because you don't watch Newcastle every week. You watch Martinelli every week, you get frustrated. So for me, that happens a lot. And with Eze, you see him scoring in the FA Cup final, you see him scoring in the semi-final. Palace might not win for 3 games, he might do nothing. Then you see him score 2, and you get this idea that he's this great player. Now, listen, he is a good player. He's a top player. He's not elite. Can he help us to win trophies? Yes. He's already won us a game against Crystal Palace. We may have drew that without Eze. and he got the assist for Martinelli against Man City. You know, he scored against Port Vale in the League Cup. He's had moments, but that's all I expect from Eze. I expect him to have moments, and he could have a big moment on Sunday, because wouldn't it just be fitting for Ebreze to go and score against Spurs after turning them down and coming to Arsenal? It's written in the stars, really, isn't it, for Eze to go and score against Spurs? People, smash them likes, please. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We're a new channel. We're on the road to 1K. I think we're on 978. So yeah, man, help us out and help us get to the 1K mark. And yeah, man, we've got some big shows coming up. We've got a big show coming up on Monday. We're going to have a really good panel. There's going to be three of us, what people call top gooners, and there's going to be three, what people say, bottom gooners, positive Dan, negative Dan. I think it could be our best show yet Monday, because it's going to be a day after the North London derby. Prime time. We're going to do it an hour earlier at 8 o'clock. So please make sure you guys tune in. Now, this is another thing I wanted to touch on. Benjamin White. What are we thinking about Ben White? Because he's not getting any game time. And look, Timber is performing absolutely brilliantly. But does he have a future at Arsenal? Does Ben White have a future at Arsenal? Because they asked Arteta in his interview. They said to him, you know, how are you managing Ben White's minutes? And I thought, hold on a minute, what minutes? He's never even playing. And he's not looked like the same Ben White since that injury. But what do you guys think? Do you think Ben White has a future at the club? Because let's be real, before Timber came along, Ben White was a 7 out of 10 every single week. All right, he had a few bad games here and there, but most of the time, he was a very, very reliable, good, solid right back. Do we think he stays at Arsenal, or do we think, you know, I don't think he really cares too much about playing for England, so I don't think that's going to be a factor. But let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Miles Lewis Skelly as well. Is he going to play against Tottenham? Now, listen, with Skelly, I want him to play. I want him to be part of that team. I want him to, you know, to feel that North London derby. Of course, he knows what it's like to play in the derby. He's an Arsenal boy. If you cut Lewis Skelly, he bleeds Arsenal. So I really want to see him play in that game. But I do have reservations, because defensively, he has had his moments. And of course, we haven't even spoke about this yet, but the referee is none other than Michael Oliver. Michael Oliver will be refereeing the game. He's the one who sent Skelly off against Wolves when it was never a red card. So, you know, look, I'm not going to be getting scared about who's reffing the game. I don't rate any of these refs in England, really. Just play so well that no matter what the ref does, if a bad decision goes against you, don't let it cost you the game. You know, make sure that you're winning the game. Make sure that you just go out there and attack Spurs, because they're going to come with a low block. I have no doubt in my mind that Frank is not going to be naive like the last man was. And look, he actually got a draw at the Emirates. That's the one draw they've got against us in the last previous six games. So, yeah, he's going to go. We know what he's going to do. He's going to sit up, low block, and it's going to be tough initially to break them down. But I think once we do score, I think the game hopefully should open up. And Spurs will have to go for it at some point. They will have to go for it, even if it's at 0-0. And look, right now, I'll take a 1-0 all day long. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Big game. I'm going to go through Arsenal's next 3 games now. I'm going to say Spurs, I'm going for 3-0. Bayern Munich, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. You know, even positive Dan, I'm going for a draw in that game. And Chelsea, I'm going for 2-1 to Arsenal. And I think if we can win those 2 games in the Premier League, it will be massive. I know Man City play Newcastle. Who do they play after Newcastle? Let's have a quick check. I did look earlier, but I've forgotten. Let's check Man City's fixtures. Big up everyone watching, man. I really appreciate it, bro. Like I said, we're a small channel, man. So even when I just see a couple of people up here watching, it really does help me to continue on, you know. Let's see who they've got after Newcastle. Oh, they've got an easy one. They've got Leeds at home and then Fulham away. Then they've got Sunderland. You know, it's mad. You just look at City's games and you just think they're going to win all of them. We're going to have to be very good this season. Fulham away, though, that could be a tough one. But I expect City. Newcastle's tough, but they'll beat Leeds. So, yeah, man. If we weren't to beat, if we did not beat Tottenham and Man City did beat um, Newcastle, say we drew and they cut it to 2 points, and then they've got Leeds at home and we've got Chelsea away. Oh my god, I'm giving myself nightmares right now. I really am giving myself nightmares. But even then, it wouldn't be over. Even if we do go behind at some point in this title race, as long as you're there, as long as you are there or thereabouts, you've got a chance. But I don't expect that to happen. I actually don't expect us to come off top spot. I think we'll stay top right up until we win this Premier League. Now, guys, just try it. Would you? I want to know. Let me know in the comments, guys. Would you rather the Premier League or the Champions League? You can only take one. Which one are you taking? Because for me, it's a very, very hard question because I feel like this team needs the Premier League because they've gone so close. And I think, when you go so close to something, it's like when you're playing FIFA, man, and you're playing someone who's really good and you go close to beating him, and then you want to beat that person. You might be doing winner stays on, and then you play someone else and you beat them. Like, I don't know, man. But the Champions League, we've never done it in our history. So as long as we didn't fall off a cliff in the league, if we were to finish second, I could probably deal with that if we're going to win the biggest stage of them all. No team would ever be able to say it again. I think I'd go Champions League, guys. Let me know in the comments what you would go with. If you're not going to let me know in the live chat, let me know in the replay comments as well. I'm asking Champions League or Premier League, which one would you take and why would you take either the Premier League or the Champions League? I'm just about edging just the Champions League only because we haven't won it. Had we won it once or twice, I would always say the Premier League. I feel like this team wants the Premier League more as well. And what are we more set up to win? Do you think this team is ready to is more suited to a Premier League or more suited to a Champions League? Because look, defensively so strong, don't let many goals in. It sounds like a Champions League team. We got to the semis last year, our first semi-final since 2009. By the way, guys, this is what Arteta has done for for the club. The last Champions League semi-final was 2009. And a lot of Arsenal fans say we should be winning everything. We're Arsenal, and I get it. We are Arsenal, but we've never won a Champions League ever. So this thing where like Arteta has to win the Champions League is a bit crazy when this team has never ever won the Champions League. In our illustrious history, as great as it is, we've never won a Champions League. Well, let's just hope that in May we are. I think it's in. Is it Budapest this year? Champions League final. So I don't know what my camera's doing there. Is it Budapest this year? I remember because I was watching the Ireland vs Hungary game, and I remember someone saying that. Sure, the commentator said that the Champions League final will be back here. Let me just check that. The Champions League final this year. Big up Ireland, by the way. I'm half Irish, but I support Ireland because of my dad, and big them up, man. And big up Scotland as well. Scotland have actually made it to the World Cup, first one since '98. If Ireland do make it, they'll make it via the playoff. We'll have to beat Czech Republic away. Then we have the home. The final would be at home to make it the final playoff, and that will either be against Denmark or North Macedonia. So I think Ireland have got every single chance. Where is the Champions League final being played? I'm sure they said it was Budapest. Yeah, it is in Budapest, and that's exactly where. So hopefully, I'll go back there to where Ireland famously beat Hungary 3-2 with a Troy Parrott last minute goal. Troy Parrott banging in loads of goals over in Holland, by the way. Let go by Spurs. Could that be a cheeky buy for Arsenal? He's only 23 years old, scoring a lot of goals. Telling you now, if Gyökeres don't work out, that could be one to keep an eye on. Um, who do we think is going to get relegated, guys? Because I was just looking at the table earlier, and I think we all can agree that it looks like Wolves are going to go down. Um, So right now, currently at the bottom is West Ham, Forest, and Wolves. I think Nuno's gonna. I think West Ham are gonna be fine with Nuno. I really do. They've won like 3 out of the last 4. They seem to be coming back. They're on. How many points are they on now? They're on 10 points. Burnley are on 10. Leeds are only on 11. Forest with Daesh, I don't think they'll go down. Nah, they won't go down. I think Wolves. I think you know what I think it's going to be Wolves, Burnley, and Leeds. That's what I'm going for. Wolves, Burnley, and Leeds. I'll go for the top 4. I'm going for Arsenal, then Man City. Then I'm going to go Liverpool. Then I'm going to go Chelsea. And do you know what? I'm going to go 5th, Manchester United. The 2 boys that I had on my stream on Wednesday, they would be happy hearing that. Man United, yeah, I think Man United have been good this season, and I think they could potentially make the Champions League spots. And I've asked Man United fans, what would you rather? And it's crazy because when I say this, people go, "Oh, you're mad! Trophy, trophy, trophy!" And I asked 2 Manchester United fans. I actually asked a few in a group chat as well. Now I'm in. Would you rather Manchester United finish 8th but win the FA Cup or the League Cup, or finish 4th or 5th and secure Champions League football, but no cup? And they all, every single one of them, about 10 of them, said that they would rather finish 4th or 5th than get back in the Champions League. It's where everyone wants to be, you know? And this Arsenal team has not been built for 6 or 7 years to go and win a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup. I know we're starving for trophies, but for me, has to be the Premier League or the Champions League. Has to be. Has to be Premier League or Champions League. And I fully believe that we'll win the Premier League this year. I'm hoping we can win that Carabao Cup nice and early in February or March. Because if we win that Carabao Cup, guys, in February or March, it's going to give us a great it's the confidence for this team just to win a trophy a day out at Wembley. All of us, I think every fan would change. I think even Lee Gunner, any of these most negative guys, I think if they see Arsenal win that Carabao Cup in February or March, I think our fan base would become unstoppable because I think we'd all be together. That would be it. There'll be no one moaning. We've won a trophy now. And let's say we're like 2 points at the top ahead of City or whoever it might be, and we've got a Champions League quarterfinal, bruv, everyone would be united. We could become unstoppable, man. This could still be such an amazing season for Arsenal. Let's go to Spurs. Let's smash Spurs 3-0. Let's send a message to the league. Listen, that was a little slip up against Sunderland. We're coming for this Premier League title. I know we always beat Spurs, but let's go and beat them again and beat them convincingly. And then we go and beat Chelsea and we see where we're at. But yeah, Manchester City, man, when I look at their fixtures, before I used to look at their fixtures and think that could be a banana slip. I'm looking at them now thinking, bloody hell. Even Liverpool's. But look, every game looks easy. When you look at it on Google or on paper, you should win this, win that, win that. No one knows what's going to happen. But the one game that does look a bit tough is Newcastle. The only thing is Newcastle are in terrible form right now. I think Eddie Howe's getting away with murder, to be honest, because he's not really getting any pressure. But maybe that's just down to the size of the club. Big up everyone that's watching. Really appreciate you watching. Smash the like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Please help us get to 1K subscribers. We're nearly getting there, guys. The questions I'm asking is, would you rather finish outside of the top 4, top 5, but win an FA Cup or a League Cup, but not be in the Champions League next year? Because I've been asking Manchester United fans, and every single one of them have said to me that they would rather have no trophy and finish in the Champions League places. So let me put it to the Arsenal fans. There's a few of you watching now. Let me know in the comments. If I said to you now, we're going to finish 6th, 7th, you know what? Make it even worse. 8th, we're not going to play in Europe next year at all, but we're going to lift up the League Cup. Or would you rather say, you know what, we finished 2nd, couple of points, 1 point off the top, so you're going to be agonizing, and you're still in the Champions League next year? Let me know in the comments. I definitely would not take 1 cup. A double, you probably would have to take it, really, wouldn't you? You would. But not being in the Champions League with this team, I just feel like this team has got about 4 or 5 years to win a Champions League. And I just feel like if we had to sacrifice a year, I don't know if I'd be willing to do it, man. Let me know in the comments, guys. Would you guys be willing to sacrifice it for a trophy? How desperate are we for a trophy? Or does it need to be the Premier League or the Champions League? What does it mean for Arteta? If we finish second, but we win an FA Cup and League Cup double, will the people that are Arteta out, would you want him in? Or would you want him out? You know, it's really interesting. And listen, like I've been was saying earlier, the whole point of football, right? You could sit down with your mates and you talk about, I don't know, we could talk about Kudos from Spurs. And someone will go, oh, he's shit. And someone will go, no way, he's a baller. Like, this is what happens, man. And we all have different opinions, and it's okay to have different opinions. And another thing I say to people, it's okay to change your mind. Seems like there's a lot of people that don't want to change their mind. It seems like some people, like especially when it comes to Arteta, because they've made their mind up. Someone said it in the chat earlier. I've been Arteta out since 2019. So because you was Arteta out in 2019, there's no way you could ever be like, oh, I'm back in Arteta, I'm Arteta in, which I think is silly, guys. I think it really is silly. We can change our minds because trust me, if we were to finish 10 points off the top this season and do nothing and win no trophies, I would be the first to say, you know what, I think it's time to get a new manager. Thanks a lot, Mikel, for building us and getting us to where you've got to. And that would be that, you know. It's just like, you know, when you're watching a movie, you might say, oh, like, you got to find out a thriller, who the killer is. Oh, I think it's that person. Then about 20 minutes later, you might say it's that person because you've been watching and seeing something different. And this is what I say now to people that are Arteta out. Like, you could be Arteta out last year. Doesn't mean this year you can't say, you know what, I'm behind him. You don't even have to say I'm Arteta in, but you can say I'm behind him. I like what he's doing. I can't complain where we are. Kind of how my boy Realist Gunner is, because he can be very negative, but he's very negative when things are not going well. He's not negative when Arsenal are top of the league. I was on a stream on the 12th man the other day. Big up Dan Potts, man. He's showing a lot of love to me, bro. Gave me a raid, bringing me on his shows and all of that. And like Lee Gunner and Northside were on there, and all they were doing was just negative, which is what I expected. And it was a long day, to be honest. I was very tired. I was up from 5 a.m. that day, and I just kind of let them go with it and said my little things here and there. But yeah, man, absolutely buzzing. Looking to this North London derby. Come on, you fucking gooners. Let's go out and smash them. Like I said, I'm going for Arsenal to win the game 3-0. I'm going for, let me just go for Saka, Marino, and Trossard. Marino from a corner. Saka just going to score a beautiful goal. And Trossard's going to do what he's been doing lately and get a goal for me. Smash the likes, everyone. Please, if you haven't subscribed, even if you're watching this on the replay, subscribe and help get us to the 1,000 subscriber mark. Once we've got to that, you know, then we need to get to 4 hours watch time. And after that, we can get monetized and we can start growing the channel. We've got loads of ideas, loads of things coming. This is going to be a big week for Arsenal. It's going to be a massive week. Let me know what you think we're going to do in the next 3 games. Just drop in the comments if you're watching it on the replay or even now. Arsenal W or D or L for Spurs, and then Bayern Munich and then Chelsea. It's a massive week. Could be season defining this week regarding the Premier League anyway. Because, you know, with Bayern Munich, whatever happens, I feel like, you know, we're gonna fly through the Champions League. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a real big week for Arsenal. Hopefully this time next week, I'm buzzing, you know, and we're going into who is it? Is it hopefully going into the Chelsea game, having beat Spurs and hopefully beaten Bayern Munich. Let's see, man. What do we think though? Who's the best player in the world right now? Because someone said to me the other day, Harry Kane, and I've never really seen Harry Kane as that, but it's hard to argue right now. The form he's in, banging him in and buying, banging him in for England. You know, it's Champions League, scoring in the Bundesliga. You know, I think this season, Haaland, Kane, Mbappe, this is the year. If one of them whoever wins the Champions League, if one of them three win the Champions, and there's the World Cup. Oi, if France win a World Cup, Mbappe's going to get it. If Real Madrid win a Champions League, if Mbappe wins both those tournaments, he's going to get the Ballon d'Or. if Kane were to win the Champions League and go far, or maybe even God knows if he could win England the Euros, I think he's nailed on. He'd get it. Haaland, if he could do, he's not going to win the World Cup with Norway. You never know. But if he were to win like the Premier League with City and a Champions League with City, and then go far and do bits for Norway, I'm really glad that he's qualified for the World Cup, because I feel like it would be such a shame. I think they haven't been since '98, I think it is as well. So it would have been such a shame for such a great player not to go to a World Cup. You want their best players at the World Cup, and I'm happy that Haaland's going to be there, and I'm looking forward to watching that World Cup. It's going to be a great World Cup in Miami. If Ireland qualify, I think I'll have to go out there myself. But guys, I'm going to say thank you for everyone watching. Thanks for showing love. If you're watching it on the replay, please smash the like, drop us a comment. We'll be back with a special live edition. We're going to have Marty from AFTV as one of our guests, and there's about 3 or 4 other guests. I'm just waiting on confirmation, so I won't say just yet, but it's looking like it's going to be a really good panel. Not just me talking to you guys for an hour, but thank you to everyone who stayed and watched this whole stream, just me talking for an hour. It's a new experience for me, so I'm learning on the job as well. So yeah, really appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys all soon. Thanks for watching.